celebrating 11 years of possibility. Pilot Flying J and Halloran Hilton Hill present Anything is Possible. Today's guest, Claire Donahue.
Welcome to another edition of Anything is Possible. I'm Halloran Hilton Hill. This is Claire Donahue, and this is her gold medal. Do you ever just put it on at the house and just walk around with it on by yourself and go, you go, girl?
I did when I first got it, but not anymore.
Do you mind me asking how old you are?
24.
How does it feel at 24 to have already gone to the mountaintop? This is what we do it for, is to get to this thing right here. What does that feel like?
It's very strange. It's been a slow process, so when I'm going about my everyday, it seems pretty normal, but when I think about the past and all the hard work I put in and where I actually started and how far it took me and how long it took me, it feels pretty awesome. I mean, it's a strange feeling to think that your biggest dream that you've ever had comes true. That doesn't happen every day, and so it's amazing and exciting. There's just so many things that go along with it.
How many years and how much work did it take to get you here?
A lot. I started swimming when I was really young, when I was 6, and it was kind of just a progression, starting out small and building into it.
Did it come naturally?
A little bit. I mean, it took a while. Swimming came naturally because I enjoyed it, and I went to practice, but it wasn't like I was good. It took me a long time till high school. Started when I was 6 years old. It took me until I was 15, 16 to even get decent. And
you had to put in 10 years, 10,000 hours, I guess is what they say.
Yeah. And
right.
It took hours and hours and getting up early and a lot of sacrifices, a lot of hard work, a lot of pushing myself, going to practices when I didn't want to, just doing a lot of different things combined to make it something great.
So you put in, I'm trying to figure out, you're 24, you started at 6. So you're 18 years into, this is an 18-year investment.
Yeah.
How did you end up on the Olympic team though?
Yeah. Okay. Well, obviously a lot of hard work and then building up to it. But the way it works is with swimming, there's a lot of different meets that you have to get times to go to. So even starting off at 12 years old, you have to get a cut to go to a better meet. So you can go to regular meets, but to go to a better meet, a faster meet, you have to get a time. So you go that time. When
you say get a time, it means you have to go, swim, have an officially recorded time that qualifies you for another level.
Yes, so go to a meet and then swim your event and go a certain time to basically move on.
Got you.
And so, it's not based on place, it's usually based on time. So, you build up and then eventually, you have this trials. So if you've gone a certain time, you get to go to Olympic trials. And even out of that, there's a very, very small percentage that get to go to the Olympic trials. And so when I went in 2008, just that was amazing to be able to go. And then when you go to Olympic trials, the top 2 in your event go to the Olympics. So you have, for my event, the 100 butterfly, I had prelims, which is in the morning, and then the top 16 move on to semifinals. And at semifinals, the top 8 move on to finals the next night. And so the top 8 swim and compete, and everybody's gunning for the 1 or 2 spot. And at Olympic trials and Olympics, they say anything can happen. And so you go into it and hoping that this is your day and your event. And so that's kind of how it works. The top 2 move on and then get to go to the Olympics.
Do you remember that day when you?
Oh my gosh, yes.
Tell me that story. Tell me.
That day was one of those meets. There's always certain meets or races that you'll never forget, and there's a few before that, but this is like the ultimate. Going to the Olympics, was amazing, and I could talk about that. But making the team was kind of the ultimate, the peak. You compete for this meet, and I had through college I got pretty good and I knew that I could run and take a run and run at it. And when I got to the Olympic trials, I knew that there were I think 5 Olympians in the final heat, and so that was a little intimidating. But when I went into it, I was confident that knowing that I had a shot, that, you know, I had a shot to make the Olympic team. And so, you know, you get up in the blocks, and I had done a lot of, worked with a sports psychologist to kind of help me with this, because, I mean, the Olympic trials are the most nerve-wracking meet, more than the Olympics, because you have 2 spots, and you have to get those 2 spots to go to the Olympics. And so they call you out, and you walk out behind the blocks. They call your name. You know, you're kind of getting ready, shaking. I always
Claire Donahue.
Yeah. Oh gosh, it was crazy. At that point, I was still pretty nervous, but you know, I'd do some deep breaths to help me relax and really think about, instead of what everybody else is going to do and think about the Olympians, I think about what I need to do and what, you know, to go fast. And so you're standing up on the blocks. They call you up, kind of a normal thing, and they say, take your marks, and I bend down. And at this point, this is the most relaxed I've ever been in a race before. Even small to big, this was the most relaxed I've ever been. And so, you know, I dive in, and I mean, I can remember pretty much the entire race, second by second. And I remember turning at the wall. It's for the 100 fly, it's 2 laps. So you go down, and I'm swimming butterfly, and touch the wall and push off underwater, and coming home. And the last 25, so the last quarter, I'm thinking, okay, I got to give it all I have, no regrets. I've done the work I need to do. I just need to push this hard. And so, you know, the last 15 are always, or the last 25 are always really hard, because I'm more of a sprinter, so I go out fast and usually die pretty hard. And so the last 25, I'm thinking, you know, all you have, and thinking about some of the techniques I need to do that. And I touched the wall, and, you know, I know at that moment I told myself, you did all you could. It doesn't matter what you got, you did all you could. So I look up, and it says number 2 beside my name, and like a million different emotions were going through me. First, I think it was just shock. I couldn't believe it. I like turned around and just stared at the wall, and I was like, did this really just happen? Did I just make the Olympic team? And then I look back up at the clock, and it says that I've gotten second, and I started crying, a little hyperventilation, and I think just a million different emotions, excited, shocked, you know, couldn't believe I actually made the team and that my dream came true.
From Lenore City to London. Claire Donahue is my guest today on Anything is Possible. This is our gold medal. I mean, at least for the time you're here, we're sharing it. We'll be back with more of Anything is Possible.
Possibility powered by Pilot Flying J, Covenant Health, Home Federal, and the Knoxville News Sentinel. Coming up.
So instead of thinking, this is going to be hard, I'm not going to be able to do it, I started to think, okay, this is going to make me better. This is going to get me to the Olympics. This is going to get me further and faster.
What an exciting story, by the way. You're watching Anything is Possible, and this is my guest, Olympic gold medalist. That goes in front of your name forever now, Olympic gold medalist. Claire Donahue, thank you for joining us today. So you see the number 2 up there. Now, to make it into the Olympics, you have to be one of 2.
Yes, for the U.S., that's how it
one
works.
Of 2. So you didn't mind being number 2 on that day.
No, this is the first time. I didn't care at all. That's what I was going for.
Now, this takes you, how old were you when that happened? So you must have been...
I was 23.
23.
Yes.
Right, so you've got 17 years invested in getting to that moment.
Yeah.
And how long did that last? How many seconds was that?
57
seconds. So you trained for 17 years for 57 seconds.
Yep. I know, it's weird to think about travel all over the world for 57 seconds.
I'm really interested in the sports psychology behind performance, because it puts you in that ready state. And you said several things. One was that you had never been more relaxed than then. How much work does it take to make yourself confident enough in the work that you've put in so that you can relax? Because relaxation is a part of putting you in a power position when it comes to performance.
Right. I mean, you know, you get to a certain point, and it's different for different people, but my past performances helped my confidence and helped me be relaxed. But when you still get up there at a meet, you're still just as nervous, and there's still other people. There's always someone that's faster than you, and you're always thinking about that. And so I started a year before the Olympics. My coach and I decided, well, you know, to get an extra edge, we need any extra edge to get just maybe a 1/10 of a second faster. So we thought sports psychology would be a great way to go. And so we talked to someone on campus and decided to do something regularly once a week for the next year. And it was great.
So this was at Western Kentucky?
Yes.
Right.
That's when I started.
So what were these sessions like every week?
Well, you know, you start off, and the sports psychologist had worked with other sports but never worked with swimming. So a lot of it was kind of getting her acclimated, you know, learning what it meant. You know, when I say, well, you know, I feel bad at practice, what really feeling bad means. And she helped not only with the sports psychology of like going to a meet and relaxing, but being able to help me get through a day-to-day practice and staying positive and staying there in the moment, being able to move forward. And I mean, because it's, it's a long process.
So did you learn, I was reading this book by Jason Selk called 10-Minute Mental Toughness, and he talked about building kind of a portfolio of replacement thoughts that you use to leverage yourself back to a power position, whether in practice or performance. Did you build a kind of portfolio of replacement thoughts that you would go to?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of other stuff I did, like that kind of built into that, like working on recognizing my negative self-talk is what we called it. So recognizing those negative thoughts, and then like maybe in practice, so recognize those, and then switching them. So
what were yours? So give me a former thought, and then give me the switch.
Okay, so before, like in practice, I would think, I would look at the set, because our coach prints out the workouts, and so I'd look at the set and be like, oh my gosh, another one, you know, this is gonna be hard, I'm not gonna be able to do it. So instead of thinking, this is gonna be hard, I'm not gonna be able to do it, I started to think, okay, this is going to make me better. This is going to get me to the Olympics. This is going to get me further and faster. And of course, when you're thinking negative, it's hard to get to that point, but that's why practice, not just for swimming, but for the psychology of it, is so important. Doing it, the more you do it, the more you're familiar with it. And so when those thoughts came up, it was automatic. It came, you know, instead of thinking, you know, oh, this is going to be so hard. When I looked at the set, I automatically thought, you know, I can do this. It might be hard, but it's going to help me get better and get me to where I want to be.
Here are 3 things I'll have to do today in practice that I hate to. Here are 3 things that are going to move me one step closer to the Olympics.
Yeah.
That's very cool. Thank you for sharing that with me, because I'm very fascinated about that. You grew up in Lenoir City. You started as a little girl. Your brother gets you into it. Was part of it driven by trying to be competitive with your brother?
Oh, yeah. Well, when I was, from, I guess, a little bit older, like 10 to the age of 14, I'm very competitive, and so I loved.
You think?
Yeah.
She says she's very competitive. Yeah, I think so.
So, you know, we would swim on the same team, and so sometimes we would do different sets, but and I would always be in the lane before him, and sometimes we would be swimming, and I would race him during warm-up, and he would get so mad that I was like racing. He's like, Claire, warm-up is supposed to be to warm you up, not to race, and he always got mad at me, but I still
Are you
did
faster than him right now?
Yes, I'd say so. He stopped a little while ago.
All right, so I want to kind of find our way now from being, you know, making it to the Olympics, and I want you to walk me through that whole experience of possibility. And folks, I really want you to pay attention today to what she said about practicing your thinking. I'd never thought about that till today, that practice is surely to shave 10ths of seconds off your time. You have to have a very precise approach to your training. You have to analyze what you're doing to measure its effectiveness, and then you have to try to engineer tweaks to make you more effective. But I never thought about the efficiency of thinking.
Yeah.
Like how much time do you think you added by changing your thinking?
I mean, a ton, because it helps you relax, and it helps you just do what you need to do physically and get you ready mentally, so you can do what you've been training to do and what you're going to do when you race.
So if you can get out of your own head, you can shave time.
Oh my gosh, and there's people that are really bad, and I guess I was kind of in the middle, but yeah, I mean, I probably shaved 10ths of a second, which, you know, the difference between first and second or second and third are usually 10ths of a second. So sometimes hundredths. So being able to be mentally ready was gave me a huge edge.
All right, let's take a break.
Okay.
Claire Donahue is my guest. This is Anything is Possible, and I'm geeking right now. I'm glad you're here. We'll be right back.
Coming up.
That night we, were given the gold medals, and just like holding it and actually having it was like, it was awesome.
In 2012, Claire Donahue won a gold medal at the Olympics, and she's my guest today on Anything is Possible. I'm just geeked having you here at the table with me. I hope you're enjoying this
Oh,
too.
yes, very much.
All right, so we're in London now, and you are going to the Olympics. Do you believe that you're going to win a gold medal, or are you just happy to be there?
I'm just happy to be there. At that point, I still couldn't believe that I got to go, and getting a gold medal was really not in my sights. My goal was to get in the top 3. That was definitely one of my goals, but to get a gold medal and to win, I mean, I never, in my entire life, goal was to go to the Olympics. Never thought about getting a gold medal.
Wow. So you get to the Olympic Village. Do you have a pre-race ritual, and kind of walk me up to the race in which you won this medal?
Well, we were there probably 2 or 3 days before the Olympics started, before even the opening ceremonies. And so, I get to experience everything that goes with that, which was amazing. But when you're 3 days out, I've already been mentally preparing for that, and physically, obviously, getting ready for, I guess, the big race, because again, mentally and physically, you have to be ready to go and race the best in the world, which for me was nerve-wracking. And so you go to the pool, and a lot of it is just getting familiar with everything in the beginning. Getting familiar with the pool, the blocks, the lanes, how things are going to be run. You can't really expect anything to happen perfectly, because things are going to mess up. And so you're kind of preparing just to be ready for, the unexpected and the uncontrollables.
Tell me about your suit.
Yeah, I know. There's a ton of talk. It's a very tight suit. It's very hard to get into. Some of the suits take 30 minutes to just put on.
Really?
So you have to plan for that too. So the suits are, usually they used to be, from the full body, from ankles up, and now they've made rules because it started to be more of a technical thing where the suit was making you fast, not necessarily the person. So they made it to where it's knees and up for girls, and it doesn't take as long to put on, but it helps with, the tenths of a second that you're shaving. It helps with that. So when you're trying to figure out a suit, you're looking for comfort. You're looking for, is it going to make you faster? It's kind of weird. Cap? Yeah, they even have caps for that. The same thing, to what's going to make you faster, more aerodynamic. And of course, the other swimmers have somewhat of the same edge that you do. So, everybody's wearing about the same cap, about the same suit to help them go the fastest time.
Do you listen to music before you race?
I actually don't. I used to, and it made me too nervous. So I was like, okay, I gotta, calm down. So I stopped listening to music, and I usually, when we're sitting in the back before we're about to race, we sit in this room, and I like to talk to people, and kind of it helps me relax and have fun with racing.
Walk me up to this medal.
Okay. Well, the way we did it was for a relay, and so it makes it a little different where you're swimming for your country. Obviously at this meet it's a lot about country, but when you're swimming on a relay for your country, it's awesome. I mean, relays in general are fun because you're swimming with 3 other people that you've gotten to know and that you're friends with, and so to be able to share that moment with someone is a lot better than just have it by yourself. So the way it worked is I swam the prelims of the event, so in the morning, and then the finals were at night. So since the U.S. was, I guess you could say, stacked, the 4 different girls swam the prelims and swam at night. So when we went up, our goal was to get the girls back into finals and to basically do our best, what we could do. And so when we swam our race, and we did really well. I think all of us were really happy with our times, and really excited to see what the finals group could go. And so when they swam, we were in the stands watching. So we were, we had talked about it as a team, and we felt like a part of what they were swimming. When they were swimming, I felt like I was with her, pushing her further and further and faster. faster and faster. And so, and it was kind of an interesting moment because, you know, a lot of people, you know, they get their gold medal, you know, touch the wall and they know, which is an amazing experience, I'm sure. But to be able to sit in the stands and to watch your teammates get your gold medals or get your gold medal together was a different experience, but I think just as exciting. I remember moving to sit next to one of the girls on the relay in the morning, just so we can kind of experience together. And you know, we see that we got gold, and you know, I'm looking up, and you know, we're hugging each other, just so excited that we got it. And then we look up, and one of the other girls that was on the morning relay was crying, just bawling, so excited. And so, and then you know, that night we, you know, were given the gold medals, and just like holding it and actually having it was like, it was awesome. You know, it's heavy. It's heavier than you think it's going to be, and so you're just surprised that you're like, oh my gosh, I'm holding.
Awesome.
This is mine.
This is mine to keep forever.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get some advice. First, I need to ask you: are you planning to go back to the Olympics?
Yeah, and I'm hoping to get a gold in an individual. I think that, so go back in 4 years, and or I guess now it's 3 years, and try for Rio. And
how's your training going now?
Good, really well. I had my appendix taken out, so I had a little setback. But other than that, I'm pretty much back in the swing of things and full force. We have every year swimming is. You have to remake the team every year. So this summer we'll have world trials, and then the top 2 again will go to worlds in Barcelona. So that's the goal for this summer, is just to get to that point. If
you knew that a young boy or young girl were watching and they're trying to figure out how to make their dreams come true and possibility happen for them, what advice are you giving young people?
A lot of what I tell them is that it's hard work and a lot of sacrifice, and that anybody can do it. It's just, are you willing to put forth the effort? Are you willing to give it all you have and then some? I mean, that's the key, and that's the secret is if you want something bad enough and you're willing to give it your all and more, you can, you know, have what you want. And for me, that was the Olympics, and I hope that other kids can know that they can do that too.
What are you planning after swimming?
Well, you know, I graduated with a social work degree, and I love social work, and I'm actually still doing some work while I'm swimming to keep in it. But eventually, once I'm done swimming, if I've decided I'll maybe do some clinics, but I definitely want to get back into social work and do some things with that.
I think you've got what it takes for TV.
That'd be great. Sounds good.
Thank you for being here today. You taught me a lot, and thank you for sharing this gold medal moment with us, Claire Donahue. Thanks for being on Anything Is Possible.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
We'll see you next time.